Arne Slot's Liverpool have made a sensational start to the season, winning their first 3 games whilst playing exhilarating football. Slot's tactical vision is already making a huge impact, with the team showcasing a blend of high-intensity pressing, quick transitions, and solid build-up play. Here's how you can recreate Liverpool's tactics under Arne Slot. A very impressive element to Arne Slot's Liverpool tactics is the fluidity at which they are quite happy to rotate their formations. They tend to set up in a 4-2-3-1, but they can also use a 3-back system when building their attacks, or when they're looking to press, set up in a 4-2-4. Not only does that occur, but you will also see a 4-2-3-1 or even a 4-3-3 when looking to go up against various different teams. Now, it is still quite early in the Arne Slot Liverpool reign, but so far from what we've seen from the preseason as well as the starts to the season, Liverpool like to work the ball out wide, and you'll see a lot of combination play occur in those wider zones, whether it's the number 10s combining with the wingers or the fullbacks overlapping the wingers and looking to try and create a cutback or a crossing opportunity from those wider zones. Now, essentially, the middle area is very key. You'll see the double pivot moving up and down that central zone, as well as trying to combine very efficiently and effectively with the striker and the number 10 when they are in those central areas. So you do want to try and stretch the play as much as possible, but what this will essentially do is it will allow the likes of Mohamed Salah and Luis Diaz to be very important in the attacking play. One of the most impressive features to Arne Slot's Liverpool side is the way that they aggressively press when out of possession of the ball. They tend to cut off the supply line to the midfield as well as the forward line for the opposition, and that means that it's very difficult for the backline players of the opposition to try and play the ball further forward. That is why for the defensive style, I have set this to press after possession loss, implementing that very aggressive counter-pressing system. Now, along with that aggressive pressing structure, I have set the team's width to 60, allowing Liverpool to press out wide very effectively, but also maintain a lot of central presence for that aggressive press in the midfield zones. Cutting off the supply line between the backline and the midfield is very important to how Liverpool are looking to play, looking to create missed opportunities or mistakes from the opposition that can lead to quick transition moments for their attackers. One of the key features I have noticed with this pressing system is the fact that they limit the amount of space between the lines, and that is due to the fact that the backline will press nice and high up the field, having likes of Virgil van Dijk, Konate, as well as Robertson pressing more aggressively higher up the field. Now, this will also allow them to be very involved in rotating the play when building their attacks, but also it allows them to press up aggressively against the opposition's frontline players. As we take a look at the offensive approach implemented by Arne Slot, the build-up play will be set to slow build-up, as he does like his goalkeeper being able to implement that first phase build-up play, playing it into the centre-backs and then progressing the ball slowly up the field through the thirds, looking to be very calm and composed when building their attacks. But that does not mean that you will not have enough transition moments, as when you do aggressively press, you will have quite a few quick fire, quick attacking moments. Now, with the chance creation being set to forward runs, this will encourage that double pivots to venture further forward, and this is more or less where you will see a combination between a 4-2-3-1 as well as a 4-3-3 or even a 3-2-4-1 system, having a lot of rotation occur in those central zones, but it will also look to try and overload the opposition's backline areas. As mentioned before, we do tend to see quite a lot of the attacks stemming from those wider regions, and that will also look to try and facilitate a lot of crossing and cutback opportunities in the box. So that is why for the team's width, I have set this to 80, allowing for the likes of Mohamed Salah, Luis Diaz, or whoever you have situated in those wider zones to be able to combine very efficiently and effectively with the fullbacks. Mainly the right-hand side will have a lot of combination play between the right back and the winger, but also the left-hand side, you will see the likes of a Diogo Jota or maybe even a Szoboszlai rotating into those wider zones every now and then. Now, along with those crossing and cutback opportunities, you need players in the box to facilitate those movements, and that is why for the players in the box, I have set that to 7. Finally, for the corners as well as the free kicks, as per always, I have set this to 4. Onto the individual player roles, we'll start off at the front with Diogo Jota, who will be set to drift wide. Quite often we have seen him drifting either into the left or the right-hand channel, looking to create successful overloads in those wider zones. But you will also see him attacking in the central areas from time to time, but mainly you want him drifting out wide to try and vacate that central zone for either the likes of a Mohamed Salah, a Szoboszlai, or one of the deeper lying midfielders to venture further forward and attack those central areas. The attacking runs is set to mix, as Jota does bring a multitude of attacking elements to the game, whether it's those runs in behind looking to play those quicker balls in transition, or potentially he can look to drop into the midfield zones, combined with Szoboszlai or the deeper lying midfielders, create that box formation that we have seen from time to time, or even using his physical play to hold up the ball and then link it up very effectively with one of the wider players or maybe even one of the midfielders in and around him. The interceptions will be set to aggressive, as well as all 4 of these attacking players will be very aggressive and assertive with their interceptions, looking to press that opposition backline very effectively. And then finally, the defensive support will be set to come back on defense. One of the key elements that I did note with the relationship between the attacking midfield and the striker is they would quite frequently interchange with who's playing higher and who's playing lower. And in order to successfully do that with the striker and the attacking midfielder in FC24, you do need to have this set to come back on defense. Onto the instructions for Dominic Szoboszlai positioned in that attacking midfielder role. And as you'll see for the defensive support as well as the support on crosses, it is both set to balance, as he does tend to drop deep in brief moments or potentially stay high up the field and be a transition attacker. Now for the support on crosses, again, as we tend to see with a lot of the attacking midfielders these days, they can look to balance out with they're in the box or on the edge of the box, looking to try and facilitate the attacking play. Now, for the positioning of him when in possession of the ball, he does tend to drift either to the left or the right-hand side, very similar to what Jota does, looking to add potential passing options in those wider zones, or even trying to facilitate attacking movements in those wider areas. Now, as you'll see here for the interceptions, I have set him to aggressive, as he is very aggressive when it comes to pressing the opposition. He is often the pressing trigger that will look to try and lead that aggressive counter press, that 4-2-4 pressing structure, when trying to win the ball back high up the field. Now onto the left wing, and Luis Diaz has had a very impressive start to the season so far. Now for his defensive support, he will be set to come back on defense, as he does tend to drop very efficiently and deep at times to try and support the likes of Robertson down the left hand side. Now the chance creation for both Salah as well as Diaz will be set to free roam, as they do tend to roam into the space that is available and presented to them. We will see quite a lot of rotation occur between Jota and Szoboszlai out wide, and that means that there will be a lot of space centrally for the likes of Salah and Diaz to enter and try and attack in those zones. The support runs for Diaz will be set to maintaining a balanced support, as he does tend to enter the midfield areas, try and combine very efficiently with the central players, but he can also look to make those extensive runs in behind. Finally, the interceptions will be set to aggressive, and the support on crosses, you want him to also have a balanced approach. You can either look to facilitate crosses or cutback opportunities from those wider left areas, or he can look to be in the box himself, as we saw for the Mohamed Salah assist against Manchester United for both goals really. He made those attacking runs into that attacking zone. Onto the opposite flank, and Mohamed Salah will be set to maintaining a basic defensive support. He can choose to drop deep at times and support the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold down that right-hand side, or he can choose to stay higher up the field, more so than what Diaz does, and be a very effective transition attacker. The chance creation will be set to free roam, and this will balance out his wide attacking play with the central movements that he will make, especially with, like I mentioned earlier, the rotational play that happens in those central zones with Szoboszlai and Jota rotating outwards in brief moments. The attacking support will be set to get him behind, as we do tend to see Salah making those direct attacking runs in behind, looking for those long balls over the top or those quick transition moments to occur. Finally, the interceptions will be set to aggressive, and he does also tend to balance out his attacking runs into the box with trying to facilitate crossing and cutback opportunities from the wider areas of the field. A midfield pairing of both McAllister as well as Gravenberch has proven to be a stroke of genius for the new Liverpool manager. Both of these players tend to blend an aggressive pressing style of play with a lot of finesse when going forward. For both Gravenberch as well as McAllister, they'll be set to cut passing ends, and this will effectively allow them to cut the supply line from the opposition's backline into their midfield areas. This midfield pairing presents a lot of fluid attacking moments. You'll see the likes of McAllister venture further forward, and that will allow Gravenberch to stay back, and when he does get forward, you will see him trying to facilitate offensive opportunities and moments for the attackers in the box, or maybe even for himself on the edge of the area. Whereas the likes of Gravenberch, when he gets forward, McAllister will stay back and look to help defend those wider zones and those deeper areas of the field, and you'll see Gravenberch collect the ball and drive with it further forward, looking to try and lend a hand in the attacking outlets. Now, an area of difference that we do tend to see between this double pivot is the positioning freedom when in possession of the ball. Gravenberch does tend to drift out to the right-hand side quite a bit, looking to create successful overloads down that right-hand flank. And this will also position him down that right-hand side very effectively to counter-press and try and fill the gaps that maybe Mohamed Salah might not really fill himself. Whereas the likes of McAllister does tend to be the deep-lying playmaker, looking to drop into those pockets of space in those deeper zones, collect the ball, and look to really help establish and build that attack further forward. The role of Andy Robertson has vastly changed under Arne Slot. He will have a bit more of a defensive presence down that left-hand side, almost playing as a hybrid left centre-back / left-back. Now, he does allow him to get forward every now and then, looking to overlap the left winger and add a bit more attacking support down that left-hand side. And when he does get forward, he will look to facilitate crosses or cutback opportunities. And that is why for the run type, I have left this on balance, allowing him to venture forward, but mainly due to the fact that Trent Alexander-Arnold will be getting forward a fair amount, we will see Andy Robertson stay back and create that back three system. Now, this adds a lot of recovery pace into the back line, but it will also allow the left-hand side to be defensively solid. And as you'll see here for the run type, I have left this on mix, allowing him to either overlap the left winger or potentially invert a little bit more and stay nice and close to the likes of Virgil van Dijk as well as Konate in those central areas. Finally, the defensive positioning for Andy Robertson will be set to step up, as you do want him to bring that aggressive mentality still to your backline area. Whereas the likes of Trent will be allowed to venture forward, like I mentioned, looking to overlap and help facilitate attacking opportunities down that right-hand side, combining very efficiently with Mohamed Salah, often feeding Mohamed Salah with longer balls and behind, or maybe even overlapping the Egyptian winger, and looking to add attacking elements to the side from that right-hand flank area. So for his attacking runs, I have set this to join the attack, as well as the run type I have set to mix. Now, you will see Trent invert into the midfield every now and then, but it's mainly to try and, alternate his run patterns down that right-hand flank. He can look to overlap the right winger or potentially underlap him and look to still feed opportunities into the box for the other attackers. Finally, the positioning freedom for the right back will be set to stick to position. The role of Virgil van Dijk will be slightly different to the right centre back, and that is due to the fact that the interceptions for Van Dijk will be set to conservative, as he does tend to give the opposition a bit more space, look to back off until he really has to jump into a tackle. Whereas Konate will be a bit more of the aggressive, but his interceptions will be set to normal along with the rest of his instructions. Both of these centre-backs are quite good at being able to intercept the play, be very effective with the aerial duels, but also collecting the ball in those deeper zones and then driving forward. And I'm mainly speaking about the likes of Konate, looking to get on the ball, drive forward, create overloads, and then lay off the ball into one of the midfielders or maybe even one of the attackers. Whereas the likes of Virgil van Dijk is good at being able to play those line-breaking passes, receiving a pass under pressure, and then calmly laying it off into one of the midfielders, one of the wider fullbacks, or maybe even playing a longer pass further forward. One thing is for sure though, both of these centre-backs are very calm and composed when under pressure, and they can effectively be very involved in that first phase build-up play. Now, the role of Alisson is very boring, as it's never really changed when creating these tactics, and that is going to be comfort crosses as well as maintaining that sweeper keeper role. Of course, Alisson will be very involved in looking to build the attacks from the back, playing out very efficiently and effectively to his backline areas or maybe even into the midfield, but he's also very good at being able to launch the ball long and be very accurate with those passes further forward. So that is why you want him to be a sweeper keeper, especially when you are playing such a high line, as well as he is very aggressive in the air and can often claim those aerial threats when they are fired into the box. And there you go, people. That is how I would go ahead and implement Arne Slot's tactics into FC24. Of course, it is a bit more evolved from what they were producing in pre-season, but I do think that that is down to the amount of pure quality that has come back into the side. But if you would like to, I will link that video at the end of this one for you guys to go and take a look at yourselves. Now, if you don't mind as well, please smashing that like button down below. It does help the YouTube algorithm quite a bit, as well as if you are new to the channel and you like the content, please do think about subscribing at least. We are on the road to 10,000 subs, so if you would like to be a part of that journey, I would absolutely welcome it with open arms. Now, another thing that we also have is a Brom Squad Gaming Discord server where we chat everything football. Yes, we've been laughing at Man United, who have lost against Liverpool 3-0, who absolutely battered them. We've had a good laugh and a bit of a debate on that, as well as we also tend to chat about FC25 and tactics just in general. So if you are interested, please don't forget, the link will be down below in the description. Go ahead, click it, join up with the Brom Squad Gaming Discord server. Anyways, until the next time, until the next one, which will probably be tomorrow. I have something special planned for tomorrow, but we'll be back with another one. I hope you guys have a smashing damn day, and I'm out of here. Peace.